Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty went from being one of the fastest growing rappers to committing an armed robbery in a green McLaren to then 1 hour later flexing the McLaren on Instagram, then leading into his arrest several hours later.
The barrage of sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Police and prosecutors say Pooh Shiesty was part of the group that ended up in this parking lot that October afternoon where the flew, and it happened right across the street from the police department and town hall here in Bay Harbor Islands.
However, it's his current jail situation that just went viral when rappers started hating on Shiesty for allegedly snitching. When he was originally arrested, he created a proffer deal with the feds. Many looked at it as he was snitching. However, his best friend Big 30 would quickly defend Shiesty.
My mama, if you see some paperwork, my mama, I do whatever y'all tell me to do, cause my eyebrows, mustache, hair, I throw my chains in the river and jump in and if Shiesty snitch. Go home, take one to the I ain't got no rat.
As when many rappers were starting to call out Pooh Shiesty for snitching, he would then call them all out from his jail cell. But to understand the message from jail he gave and when his release date is, we first need to learn how Shiesty allegedly snitched. As DJ Academics explained, Pooh Shiesty's current jail situation is far from normal than somebody that committed his type of charge.
Salute to Pooh Shiesty, who looked like he's absolutely chilling in jail. My boy got a little Richard Millie, you know what I mean? Got the haircut all right. You know what I mean?
They be playing Fortnite Mobile.
In jail? Oh, he got the Timbs on. They look fresh as well. Yo, this so chilling in prison. He got 2 watches. Like, you know what I mean? Like 2 watches, not even 1.
As in the original crime document, it begins with Shiesty and his friend setting up a meet for high-end sneakers as well as narcotics on Instagram. Pooh Shiesty is seen arriving to the meet from police cameras from across the street. He parks and awaits the seller's arrival. While waiting, Shiesty and his boy create a plan to rather steal the items against the 2 sellers rather than pay for them. Once the sellers arrived, they gave Shiesty the sneakers. He was doing a legit check, which gave his boy enough time to get into position for the armed robbery that they were about to commit. Shiesty would start negotiating on a price for all the goods, and then quickly starting a small argument with the seller, where Shiesty's boy would then pull out a firearm. This then led into Shiesty grabbing his firearm from out of his waistband, where you can then see the 2 men starting to sprint away, trying to duck for cover behind their own vehicle, but they were not quick enough at all. Shiesty would end up using his firearm, hitting both of them, hitting one in the backside, and hitting one in the hip, getting extremely lucky that these 2 men did not pass away. While Shiesty was handling the 2 men, Shiesty's boy was in charge of grabbing the sneakers and narcotics out of the trunk of their vehicle. He grabs the goods and throws it into his side of the McLaren. Meanwhile, Pooh Shiesty is still making sure his job is done before sprinting towards the driver's side of the car. This car is a McLaren, meaning that it has butterfly doors, so the car door goes up when you open it. When Shiesty was done, he would sprint to his side of the car, throwing his butterfly door up in the air because he can hear police sirens from down the street. But what he didn't realize, there was a Louis Vuitton bag stuffed in the side door pocket of the McLaren. Him jolting the door up so fast made the bag fall onto the ground. This Louis V bag had $40,912 in cash. It was left behind, and it played a huge role in the evidence against Shiesty, but more on that later. Pooh Shiesty would quickly drive to the closest Miami airport, renting a private jet and flying straight out of Miami, Florida. While in the air of the private jet, he posted on Instagram the McLaren he just committed an armed robbery in. Pooh Shiesty would then quickly be arrested within the following days.
The town of Bay Harbor Islands says you're wanted He's also charged with armed robbery, battery in their affidavit, saying the 2 left the state in a private jet.
Once he was booked into jail, he quickly bonded out for $30,000 by Gucci Mane. After being on bond for a couple months, he was then officially arrested for the crimes that he committed.
Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest warrant. It was issued June 3rd. It's charging you. You have 2 attorneys here, or is it? I'm sorry, 2 attorneys in the state. Go ahead. You want to announce again?
Brad Cohen and Sam Zegny for the defendant.
Right. Have you had a chance to review?
Yes, Judge, we have.
Then fast forward to April 20th, DJ Academics would tweet, breaking, Pooh Shiesty sentenced to 63 months in prison. He was facing 8 years. As the Memphis rapper would then be officially sentenced. 63 months for firearm charges and robbery is extremely low. Even DJ Academics revealed on stream he's almost released and no one could believe it.
And I think he's coming home like next year, maybe the year after. However, it looked like he's, taking responsibility of whatever happened and doing his time, not crying. Clearly trying to let people know he's straight. And I do think when he comes back out, granted, as long as it's not like too far from now, if he comes back in a year, he's good. I still think even within tweets.
As he is being released early for one specific reason. Pooh Shiesty created a proffer deal with the feds. This is when a criminal proves additional detailed information to the feds which relates to the offense they committed, for which immunity, or in Shiesty's case, a lesser sentence is then granted. Pooh Shiesty was originally facing 20 years to life in prison. It was then dropped to 8 years and then officially dropped to 63 months. But this is where we're starting seeing rappers calling out Shiesty for working with the feds, giving them information on the case and those involved, as it sounds like they snitched, but in reality, he only snitched on himself, giving the judge and prosecutors the information on himself to make the trial process as simple as possible, otherwise known as a fast trial. The judge would make Pooh Shiesty write down all the mistakes that he made when committing this crime. You will not believe this, as the first mistake Shiesty wrote down is that he committed an armed robbery right beside a police station. The footage you see on screen is recorded from police station cameras across the street. Once the sound of firearms in the area were heard, several police cars that were not at the station but around would quickly start driving over to the parking lot that they were doing the robbery in. With law enforcement knowing exactly the location of the armed robbery, it didn't take them long to just look through the recording tapes from across the street. But also with the police arriving to the scene as fast as they did, they are the ones that picked up the Louis Vuitton bag, giving Shiesty zero time to get it back. The second mistake Shiesty wrote was leaving the Louis Vuitton bag behind. This bag held $40,912 in cash. The feds already had an idea of who committed the armed robbery because what Shiesty did while on the private jet, so they went to Shiesty's Instagram and downloaded a few photos. On the photos were Shiesty stretching many $100 bills across his body, while the feds would download these photos, zooming in on them where they can see the serial number on the bills. With creative police work, they noticed that the photos of the serial number with the bills ended up matching the exact same bills found in the Louis V bag. This then leads into the third and biggest mistake of them all. Shiesty posted a selfie with an all-green McLaren he just committed an armed robbery in an hour and a half after doing it. I wish this was a joke. Pooh Shiesty got onto the private jet, started posting 3 photos of him flexing the all-green McLaren an hour after the crime. With this going viral online, Shiesty would even release a music video titled Gone MIA, flexing the all-green McLaren again. However, many rappers didn't know he created a proffer deal and they just continued calling him out for snitching. This caused him to have a bad rep in the game for several months, leading into Shiesty in jail sending out a message to respond to everyone hating. He would call out the ops that are disrespecting him, which goes and reads, King Shiesty tapping in from the middle of the penitentiary, aka a bad place, where they say I can't go, jailing, no telling, I still remain untouched. Millions are still in double digits, tell Google to fix my net worth cause we can verify it right now. I was up 21, up 8 figures, Jay-Z can't even relate to my money. I tripled my followers, so stop playing with my name before I buy one of you for sale. You guys aren't anything. I put on for the CG stuff every day and twice on Sundays. I'm not gonna go fed because I'm not getting scared. No one's never gonna play with me free or in jail. I'm still the man of Memphis, no matter what jungle. How are you gonna let a man in the feds outdo you? You can't even beat me at crawling backwards. For my fans, supporters, and loved ones holding it down every day, keep keeping it solid. I promise it doesn't go unnoticed. But for the rest of you guys, you are done. Keep hating, false advertising, backbiting, and counting me out. I'm gonna be going 100% on you guys. As Shiesty is clearly still standing tall in jail, but he would then end up sharing a message on his Instagram story of an old interview that he did before he got arrested.
Really when I got signed, but I'm gonna tell you before I got signed, like breaking news. The verse on breaking news made everybody go crazy and folks start saying I'm their favorite rapper already, so I'm gonna stop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just made me go harder.
So the success kind of gave you the confidence to really keep it up?
Yeah, they rock with me for sure.
Man.
It's in my first verse.